Right. Hey, good evening, LinkedIn. Dave Wilson of the Ring of Hire Show. Hey, today we're going to talk about leadership and also on the other side, some of the stuff that you don't believe it's leadership and the bad bosses, if you want to say, or something like that. So we'll be right back right after this. Hey, happy Wednesday. It is Wednesday, yes. Hey, Anne-Marie, how you doing? She's always on there. Hope everything's well. Tim, that's right. This man here, you need to connect with Tim. He's one of the awesome guys that knows social media to a T. I've learned a lot from him, and he is the man. And you're always doing something, Tim. Hopefully, the show's going good too. So he does a great live show also. Hey, tonight the show is it's kind of one of my favorite ones to do in a way because it's about leadership and also not so much good leadership. And what I mean by that, hey, there's Rob. Hey, Rob, hope things are better now. You don't have to worry about people watching you. That's an inside secret there. But when you talk about your work, your employment in all types of industry, in the military, you had 14 traits. There was 14, and in the Army, Marines, everything is bearing, courage, decisiveness, dependability, endurance, enthusiasm, initiative, integrity, judgment, justice, knowledge, loyalty, tact, and unselfishness. I hope you wrote all those down, but it's a lot. There's a lot of different things. With leadership comes a lot of responsibility, and as you grow in your career, you learn to do more and more. As it goes on. Yeah, I knew you were laughing at that, buddy. Let's just keep Rob's. I'll tell you that secret one day. But with the leadership, it's as you grow. Like I said, even myself through the years, it just doesn't happen like that. You got to learn. You learn from experience. You learn from making mistakes. You learn for owning your own mistakes, and you can see it in your employees. And some of the things that are important. This is all on the good side. The bad side's coming up. Communication. Listen, that's one of the most important thing of even a new employee starting. I was reading today an article to where your first day. Prior to that, your supervisors call you now, welcome you to the team. They have to sit there and they make a call for a new person coming aboard. I think it's kind of great. I mean, they call. And then what I like is the first day with the orientations, right? There's a lot of companies that don't show, it's just numbers. You're piling them in there and just, you're given a good orientation, but they're not learning a lot. So what they've started doing is, I know it's not like this idea, is they put in more mentors. So you have a mentor with your new employees for the first 3 days or so, because within that 3 days to that first week, they're going to figure it out. They're going to figure out what kind of company they are. They're going to figure, or they just left the companies just the same way, with the supervision, with the management and human resource and all that, and the people on the floor. So I think that's a great idea because it shows that person that you care. Now they send you clothing. They give you swags. They give a lot of new things. And just to make that person feel good as a leader for those first couple of days, You want to follow up. They have the mentors. Like I said, at the end of the day, they have a meeting with the 15 people, and they look at that and they say, wow, how was your day? How was it? And you can learn so much from your candidates that way, and it'll retain them because it's communication. The next one is I really believe in, and I think, hey, there's Jill. How you doing, Jill? I see you down there. Is integrity. Integrity to me is the most. There we go. Integrity is one of the most important things. And again, like I said, your employees will see that in you. They're going to know whether you're honest. If you're just telling them something they want to hear, they're going to pick up on that. And your morals, if the way you dress, the way you represent yourself, the way you come across to your teams when you're having team meetings, are you confident? They're going to see that in you, and they're going to make a decision. Wow, this seems like a great place to work. He seems like a good, or she, a good supervisor. That first couple days, again, are the most important as a leader when you start out with new candidates at your job. The next one's accountability. That's always a hard one that leaders fall short on, and I have in the past. I'm no different. I've learned when you hold people accountable, you have to make those hard decisions, whether or not you either write them up or you talk with them, coaching, if you want to say. But it's not always the employee's fault. If you haven't provided those tools as accountability, you can lose people that way, but you also you got to be able to call those shots. You cannot, if you see something going on, you need to hold somebody accountable. You need to do it. There's no other part. Hey, Doris, how you doing? Doris Ortez, there she is. Good evening. So accountability, look at that. Don't be afraid to confront an employee or a team member, one of your supervisors. Don't just let it go. Don't let it slide. If it's something, those employees are watching you. They are watching you see what you're going to do. Are they what? Oh, I wonder if this person is a good leader, if they're going to say something, or they're just going to let it go like everybody else. So really take that, because employees watch that, and that's accountability. Empathy, let me tell you, you got to care. It's not like days now, but when it comes to somebody's family, or if somebody's got something really going on, something bad, something health issues with their child, with their family, you got to show something. It's hard nowadays because you have companies with 500 to 800 candidates in there, and you have to show empathy. And sometimes, I don't care what people say, you need to fight for that employee, because I know points issues. A lot of them around here, you get points. I get that, but sometimes with human resources, that's where they need to see you go. You need to fight for that employee and go to the human resources and say, listen, this person's having a lot of problems. And other employees will see that. Doris says the issue needs to be addressed immediately and explained. Doris, I'm going to leave that up. That's perfectly what I was saying, is if you don't address it, nip it in the butt and explain why, you're going to have problems. And again, was I guilty of that years ago? Yes, sometimes I was. I would just look the other way, but that's not. I think you learn that in time as you go, because it's less stress on yourself when you nip it in the butt and you take care of it. It's done. Nothing else. Humility. I like this one. It's kind of like the person that's the owner of the company, but yet at the end of the day, he's cleaning the office. He's helping out. Just because he owns it doesn't mean he doesn't work there. And that's the humility of what he or she likes to do. So that's one of the things. Resilience. I really believe in resilience, because that means you quickly, you rebound from a problem, something, a difficult task that your team has given. You recover from it quickly. Listen, you've made mistakes. People fail. You fail, but you got to rebound. All right, move on. To me, as a leader, if you have one of your employees as a supervisor and I've always said, if make that decision. If your boss isn't there, I'd rather have somebody make that decision, whether it's right or wrong. Make it, because if you're not enabling your staff, your employees that are wanting to move up and get promoted, you need to show that. So really look at that. Again, she's right on there. It's a very desirable, but you don't see it as much, Doris. You don't see that as much, because as I was looking at this, I was trying to figure out what have I done in the past. And resilience, that wording wasn't there for me, but it means a lot now, and I understand it. So you really have to look at what you're doing with your staff. And the other good thing is performance expectations. Here, a lot of people make mistakes. If you don't give your team, as a leader, a goal, somewhere where they need to be at a certain amount of time, if you don't give them that and set, they're all over the place. You're going to have some people that are want to do something, some of the other people that don't want to do it. So you really got to set goals, stick to it. Again, employees will watch. They will see what kind of supervisor you are. They will see what kind of manager. They will see what kind of VP you are. Because a lot of the stuff is when a VP is coming to town, right? Let's just say they're coming to the center and site. Everybody gets all cleaned up. Everything's all cleaned up like it wasn't before. You have donuts, you have all that stuff going on, and the person only shows up for maybe 30 minutes, and that's it. They want to see results. So at the end of the day, they just want to see the results. But again, employees watch that, the upper positions. They want to see all the stuff: communication, integrity, empathy, accountability. You need to spend some more time as a leader with your employees. And that's, if you're a VP and above, you're traveling. Make that time to spend with the candidates on the floor. Walk around, talk to your employees in the office, talk to them every morning. If you're there for the afternoon, have lunch, sit down, ask them how it's going. These are the kind of things that will really make you successful as you flourish, if you want to say. There we go. Provides feedback. This is always a hard one too. A lot of people don't like to give feedback. It can make them look at Rob, right? Oh, that's a joke, Rob. But you need to give feedback on something, and I like it if it's positive. But if it's negative, I don't. But seriously, if it is something negative that can help you, the way somebody says it, don't take it to heart. Just provide the feedback. If you're in a management and you have your lead and your team, say, hey, you're doing a really great job. You missed this, you didn't do this. This is what we're going to give you the tools to make sure you meet your goals. So that's one of the things. Supportive, you got to make sure you have your employees' backs. And whether that employee is wrong, but they did it out of a gut feeling what they had to do and make that decision, they need to know that you have their back. So let's just say I was away for the day and somebody made a decision, I was like, oh, that was so wrong, and you're taking a lot of heat for it. Listen, you need to speak with them about it. Hey, there he is. Hey, Chris, how you doing? Hope everything's going good. But he says it right there. If you want to grow, you should appreciate feedback. And that's what I mean by that, because I used to get defensive. I always be like, all right, why are they saying that? But a good leader will point you in that right direction, and you have to accept it. You might be able to voice your opinion, but at the end of the day, that leadership needs to call and have that plan together. So you got to grow, and that's a perfect way to say that. The next thing is the recognize efforts. I say that in a way that if your team is really doing well, the simplest things can help you retain employees. The simplest. It does not have to be all these. I mean, you like the bonuses, but to walk up to somebody out on the floor and say to them, you know what, you're doing a great job. I've noticed. I've heard good things about you. That makes the employee feel really good. So they're going to have that good feeling of, wow, they just came up to me out of nowhere. You got to try it sometimes. I'm telling you, if you do it, walk out and just walk the floor in the morning and say, hey, how's everybody doing? You're going to see that one person that might fade away and turn around. Something's wrong. So they're the kind of candidate employees that you really need to look at and talk to see how's going on, talk with their leads, talk with the HR. I couldn't agree more. Thanks, Doris. But when HR, I always said this before, when you have a leader, listen, they're held accountable. We talked about accountability. Sometimes they make mistakes and somebody's afraid to say something or anything like that. And I always like to tell people, you need to go to HR. That's always there for you. They're the ones that I've told many times that they're in that middle. They have to be in the middle. They're not for their team and they're not for your, well, they're for both teams, I should say. So they have to meet in the middle. They're not your enemies, So on that part, as a leader also, you need to focus on developing your employee. And when you start working with people, you're going to pick those candidates out. You're going to see those people in the office like, wow, you see them going that extra mile. And when you tell them this, you're going to start building them and build them up and start giving them more responsibility. So you want to give that person just a little bit, just, toss it out there. Because once they start doing something, then some of the other team members, you always have that one or two that'll complain. That's not going to stop. But my vision has always been now really strong is you need to promote within. To go out and have to get another manager, that's like a logistics manager. I don't really feel, I think you should have already built up some candidates there for that position. You should already have them set with goals and say, listen, here, you've done this, you've done that, you've done this. And by that time, if something happens and there's an opening, it's so much easier to move up the ladder. But not a lot of companies I see it all the time. I see it on the job boards and how I always say, like, how in a huge company like that can they not find one or two people that would work and fit that role? So there I hold it back on the leaders. And I've done this too, because you got to look at your vision and their vision. They're there. They want to grow. Some are happy with the way they work right now. Some don't. That's not a problem. If they want to work, if that's all they want to do, that's fine. Hey, Miriam, perfect. It's good to see you again. And Doris, promoting within can increase loyalty. And that's exactly right there too. People see it. And I constantly say that, but they're watching you. They are watching you to see what you do. I've done it. I can sense it. I can feel it. I'm like, all right, they're watching my back. So you've got to make that decision and not be afraid. Because again, your workers, they see this in you. They see, like, I wonder what Dave's going to say. I wonder what he's going to do. We had a different boss before. Let's see this. If you don't perform as a good leader, you right off the bat, it can start going down, because that's when all the gossip starts and everybody starts saying different things. But if you're a good one, that really comes out. You don't have to be intimidating to be respected. Like, you don't have to go in all guns floored, and hey, I'm the supervisor. You're not going to succeed. You're going to be out. It's just not the way things work. I shouldn't say anymore, but it's coming back to the basics, and you need to trust your team and work with them. And that's one of the big things. I like the word coach. I think coach is a good word. I think instead of, like, when you write somebody up, verbal warning and all that, I like to call it coach, experience. Sit down with the person. Don't take them in another place or right on the floor and just have a conversation with the person. But really look at what you're doing there. What I mean by that is, if you've provided that tool for that person, as a leader, you need to make sure that that person understands that you provided that for him and he or she did not do it. So there's where you got to hold accountability. Inspiration. Listen, there's a lot of people. I have a lot of great bosses. I guarantee that within 10 seconds, if I said to you, who is your best boss ever? In 10 seconds, that name's going to come right up to your head. It's going to come right there. You're going to remember that person. And I know which one I remember. You're never going to forget that good supervisor. You're never going to forget that VP that really helped you through times, took that extra step to get you over something. I've always talked about that. Responsibility and dependability. Listen, Your candidates, your employees watch that. If they see you walking in late, right? They're going to start doing it. Someone, they'll do it. Well, this person does it. If you're not if you're not taking care of yourself, they're going to see that. So, look sharp, and really, really stand out. And you'll go a long ways with it. I'm telling you, first impressions with your candidates, especially that first week. I am telling you, if you don't make now that first week a priority, you really, really are going to struggle with everything coming up. So go out on that floor, tell your leaders, listen, follow up at the end of the week. If you have 10 people, it's not a problem for 15 minutes if it can be taken, and it can be taken. Everybody has an excuse. Well, this has to be done. You can take 10 or 15 minutes, as long as it's not like, Chris, you're on an assembly line, but you can do that, and you can talk to your staff or crew. Hey, how was it again for the last week? So that's just some of the things I like to always say about that, and about making work fun, making it work fun again, and decisive. If you hit these areas, you're going to show that you're normal, especially when it makes fun. Listen, when you got that boss out there and you're going to make fun of, do something funny. I mean, you got to laugh. You got to just get everybody and enjoy yourself and make it. The companies need to make it fun for that first week also. You want that employee to walk out of there that first week and say, wow, I like this place. I can see myself. You don't do that, you're going to go down that set to where 2 or 3 weeks, like right now, the job market's hot. So they can just be like, you know what? I'm not there. Listen, I practice what I preach. If I don't see what I like in a company, I'm not going. It's not going to happen. You have to set that goal amongst yourself. If you're going into a company, you really want to grow, you really want to see if they're promoting, that you're going to talk to other people there. And trust me, that first week, they're going to, right here, you always have that one that has all the rumors. They're going to put that in there to you. So really look at that. Then there's the fun stuff. I just want to hit a couple ones, and then I'm going to call it a night here. I wanted to hit real quick about, I've seen a lot on LinkedIn, and it's over and over, is that micromanaging. A micromanager boss or manager, if you know you have one, you need, as a leader, to take care of that. Because I'm not going to spend that much time on it, but a micromanager can really, really make your employees leave. They can make you leave. I mean, they watch everything you do. When somebody comes in and they're a micromanager, every task they need to approve. It's just the way it is. All of a sudden, you're like, what? You need to approve this. You need to be copied on every email. What the heck? All of a sudden, your eyes start, and you're like, well, okay, what's going on here? You're hyper aware of your employees' whereabouts. Where's your employee? Where are they at? That's another thing too. That's tough in a micromanagement. And this all goes back to leadership. So as a leader, or even in human resources, and if people are coming to you about that, you need to nip that in the butt, because let me tell you, that can really, really just smile, because I've been there. I've been to that person that's micromanaged me out. They micromanaged me out, and now that person is gone. They came in and they get rid of all the good people. Sometimes they do that. They got one focus. If somebody's new and they don't like maybe the way you look, maybe the way you talk, maybe the way you do your job, they have other different visions as a micromanager. They're going to be like, well, I can make this team better. I don't like that idea that they're doing. You got to be careful with that, because all the good people leave. All the good people leave. Say it again. All the good people leave because of micromanager. You're going to really need to confront it. And again, human resources, that's where I go. A lot of people say, would you go and talk to the supervisor? You can do that. I would always say an open door policy. And I think as a leader, you need to listen. You need to listen and take that, because as a micromanager, they increases the turnover. You end up sweating the small stuff. Like what I mean by that is like little errors that you make, you're going to be like, oh, you're going to get in trouble for it. And it just should not be like that. And I'm not going to go much longer on this, but how do you confront a micromanager? And some of the things I like them is, make efforts to understand them, read about it, do some reading about what a micromanager is, what a micromanager does. And there are some good things that you can do. My best advice is this one simple thing: HR. Sorry. You got human resources, and I'm going to end it here. You got human resources in your back pocket, and a lot of people don't know it. A lot of people have so many problems that if HR knew about it, they would confront it. Not to where when the good candidates leave, all of a sudden we have a problem. Well, this guy's a micromanager. Oh, this one gets rid of this one. That I'm going to leave you on that note. And I want to thank everybody for coming on tonight. Is go to your human resources department if you cannot talk to anybody. They are not there to be scared of. They're there to help you. And any good human resources department will help you. You might not like sometimes the outcome. You might have done something wrong or anything. But that gives you an option. You don't have to just quit. You don't have to just give your 2-week notice because of a person's giving you a hard time. If you've been there for 5, 6, 7 years, why? Why look for another job? Correct it. See whether or not you can fix that problem with your leaders. Go to your management and see if they can fix it so you can stop the turnover. And again, I want to say have a great night, but human resources will really help you out. Thanks a lot, everybody, for being on, and we'll be back tomorrow. See you soon.